Pantanawittaya school from Bangkok is notorious for being the strictest school in the country. It is rumored that even the most notorious of pupils are straightened when they graduate from here. The school has 427 rules in total that must be abided by on a daily basis. These regulations are so extensive that a whole volume has been written about them. Anyone discovered to be disobeying them, even unintentionally, faces severe penalties such as isolation, physical harm, and even death. The result is that the students constantly live in dread. They behave like puppets, have no views, and appear lifeless. The instructors, on the other hand, are callous and cruel. They only care about hurting the kids. As a result, the school is now boring and everything is in black and white, with the exception of the principal, who for some reason always sports a neon pink suit. It is forbidden to bring anything bright inside the building. Nanno, a fresh student, first shows up at Pantanawittaya school at the beginning of the program. Although she is a happy girl who enjoys having fun, as soon as she walks through the fence, everything around her goes completely black and white. When she enters the classroom, an instructor requests that she introduce herself. Nanno obliges and smiles at her new companions, but they don't say anything more than that. The class starts soon, and Nanno finds a seat next to a female who has a shy appearance. She makes vain attempts to strike up a discussion. Later, as she is unpacking her things, Nanno unintentionally drops her lipstick, which is dark red in color. This stands out in the gray surroundings, and all of her classmates take note of it. Fortunately, the teacher is preoccupied, so the shy-looking girl picks it up before she can alert the instructor, after saying thank you and scurrying to put it inside her purse. But a short while later, Lisa, the school's disciplinary officer, and her henchmen arrive. She is shown to be the most inhumane professor around. When they catch a glimpse of her, some pupils wet their pants out of sheer terror. Lisa is here right now to examine a random bag. Nanno makes an effort to explain that searching through other people's personal belongings is an invasion of their privacy when it's her time. Lisa, however, snatches her purse and searches through it violently. Everyone in the class holds their breath, hoping that the lipstick will be discovered shortly. They are shocked to find that it is not there. The cunning Nanno has managed to hide it somewhere else. She smirks menacingly as Lisa and her henchmen leave. Nanno begins revealing her true self shortly after that. Studying or making friends are not important to her. All she wants is to hold the instructors accountable for their crimes and punish them. She pulls out her lipstick and applies it in front of the entire class as the first move. Everyone is in disbelief to witness a regulation being broken in this manner. The shy girl and Nanno are in the cafeteria in the following scenario. Although the latter has at last begun to open up, she still cautions Nanno about her behavior. She provides instances of 2 students who were sent to the scary repentance room for breaking the rules. The students have been waiting to be freed for 3 days. Even after hearing this, it's surprising to see how unbothered Nanno is. Instead, she bursts into maniacal laughter. Lisa, who also occurs to be nearby, is alerted to this. She quickly wipes it off and puts her lipstick away after noticing Nanno's colored lips. Nanno is given the task of memorizing all 427 of the book's principles while sweltering in the hot sun as a form of punishment. Our rebellious girl, however, is not going to back down so readily. Nanno begins laughing at each and every regulation in the book as the minions watch. Many students, as well as some instructors, are interested in this. Lisa shows up as well, and Nanno pulls out a lighter and burns the book down in front of her. Nanno simply states, "There's no law that says you can't burn the book," in response to everyone calling her crazy. Nevertheless, she is forced into the repentance chamber, where 2 speakers continuously blare the 437 laws. Anyone would go crazy after seeing this, but Nanno doesn't seem to care. She chuckles and yawns as if it were just another day for her. Nanno is already back in her lesson the next day. She is showing her rebellion this time by donning a vivid green ribbon. Nanno tells her classmates that she has memorized all 427 of the rules, who are shocked to see her return so early. She also claims that the repentance chamber wasn't actually that terrifying. In truth, they could throw a big party there if every student broke the regulations. Her classmates' interest in the discussion gradually grows, but Lisa shows up just in time. Even she is surprised to see Nanno outside because she can't recall freeing her. Lisa warns the girl to abide by the regulations, but the latter bluntly states this school sucks. Lisa takes Nanno back to the repentance chamber after she's had enough, but this time she demands an even harsher punishment. Once they arrive, Lisa flashes extremely strong lights into the poor girl's eyes and makes her utter the 427 rules. The full day is spent doing this. Nanno, however, is back in her classroom in the evening. She fully dyed her hair purple this time. She now seems to have the support of all the other pupils. Nanno is making progress toward the goal for which she arrived in this location slowly but surely. Lisa brings her back to the atonement chamber as planned. She asks Nanno what she desires there. After a few moments of laughter, the girl with purple hair declares that she wants the entire system to be altered. All the regulations that have restricted students' independence must be eliminated. When Lisa hears all of this, she becomes upset. She uses a plier to remove Nanno's tongue as the final punishment. Nanno, though in excruciating agony, can't help but laugh. Later, Yuri, a new student, approaches Lisa as she is in her workplace thinking back on her day. She identifies herself and says she knows Nanno well because they previously attended the same university. Yuri then asks to become the chief investigator because she is the only one who can control Nanno. When Lisa refuses to believe her, Yuri pulls out her phone and displays a group conversation of all the students who are organizing a revolt. She admits that she created a false identity in order to observe the pupils' activities. Lisa eventually consents to appoint Yuri as the school's chief inspector after being impressed. All of the disobedient pupils from the group chat are disciplined in the following scene. They are forced to remain on their knees all night. As the days go by, Yuri gradually gains Lisa's confidence and entry to her office. One day, she sneaks inside the office and goes through some confidential papers. There is no doubt that Yuri is also planning something. Nanno is back in her lesson in another location. Despite having her tongue amputated a few days ago, she can even talk. When she gets to her workstation, she discovers an envelope there for her. It has top secret written on it and is bound in a crimson ribbon. Nanno simply grinned as she eagerly opened the package. The action then shifts to Nanno traveling with a number of placards a few hours later. While traveling, she encounters Yuri, a former foe who is sporting the same ribbon that was used to seal the package. She was the shipper, as shown by this. Nanno simply instructs Yuri to get out of the way before leaving because she seems to be in a hurry. She eventually makes it to the top level and gets ready to hang some posters there. But Lisa appears on the scene at that precise moment and stops her. She asks what's in those posters, and Nanno responds with a smirk that it contains all the details about the wrongdoing at the school. The government and numerous other groups give the school millions of dollars each year in an effort to upgrade its facility. But not even 5% of those resources are ever utilized. The rooms are outdated, the school is still as filthy as ever, and the cuisine is disgusting. It is clear that every instructor is hoarding the funds for their personal use. After learning all of this, Lisa loses her composure and tries to steal the pictures. Nanno won't let go, so they have a small altercation. Unexpectedly, Yuri is filming everything from a nook. After some time, she comes up to the two and abruptly pushes Nanno off the balcony, instantly killing her. The way that Nanno was murdered has traumatized the entire school. Yuri, in the meantime, tears down all the posters and informs the pupils about how dishonest their teachers really are. She also uploads the previous video she recorded to the group chat, giving the impression that Lisa killed Nanno. The strategy is effective because the students explode after watching the movie and seeing the posters. They instantly transform into animals and begin chasing after all of the Pantanawittaya school's instructors. Like the other instructors, Lisa is also apprehended and is bound and maltreated. Later, every instructor is brought into the main auditorium. As the students voice at this point, Yuri stands up and declares that the rules will alter. In the future, it will be the teachers who are suppressing and torturing the pupils. If a student disobeys, they will be disciplined in the repentance room. The teachers will have to follow their guidelines. She then instructs all the instructors to write their confessions down on paper. The majority of them comply, but the evil Lisa just chuckles and won't record anything. This enraged one of the students, so he puts her on a chokehold to give her a lesson. Unfortunately, he is too caught up in the excitement of the situation to notice that Lisa has actually ceased breathing. All of the students at once turn against the boy after learning that he killed their instructor. While some advocate sending him to the repentance chamber, others call for his execution. Thankfully, the director, who is carrying a gun, shows up just in time. He issues a warning to everyone, then releases the held instructors. After that, the students are given an option by the principal. He will overlook their transgressions, including the death of Lisa, if they admit to their wrongdoing and make a commitment never to disobey again. Many cowardly students begin pleading for pardon as soon as he says this, but some of them remain silent. Yoru is one of them. The principal eventually gathers these disobedient pupils in one location to discipline them. At first, he summons Yuri, as she was the one who started all this. He then prepares to kill her by pulling out a razor-sharp dagger. Unexpectedly, a wounded Yuri then materializes. She has amazingly risen from the grave. Then, 3 additional representations of her appear. One of them has her tongue cut out, another is decked out in a green bow, and the last one is the Nanno who just got to school. It comes out that Nanno always replaced her older self after receiving punishment. This explains why, despite being confined to the remorse room, she was constantly returning to her class. All of the doors are instantly locked by the 4 Nannos, trapping the terrified teachers. The principal is then confronted by the recently deceased version of Nanno, who demands that he lay down the gun. The latter responds no and gets ready to shoot her, but just then, all the students take out their deadliest tools, their smartphones. They go live and capture their evil principal, who is willing to kill his pupils for lack of behavior, on camera. The big fat director is eventually alarmed by this and drops the gun. When he does, the students crowd around him and kill him. The crafty Yuri attempts to flee by taking advantage of the commotion, but Nanno stops her. In this manner, Pantanawittaya School's complete administration is brought to its knees. The students are no longer required to live in constant dread of punishment. They can be carefree and mischievous, like typical high school students should. The teachers and Nanno's arch-enemy Yuri are imprisoned in the repentance chamber in the final scene. Then, having achieved her goal, she leaves the institution forever.